Hello. Thank you for joining Parkinson Voice Project for today's online Speak Out Home practice session. My name is Samantha Allenderry. I'm a speech language pathologist and the founder of Parkinson Voice Project. We are a nonprofit organization located in Texas, in Richardson, Texas. Our mission is to help you and everyone with Parkinson's around the world regain and retain your speech and your swallowing. Part of regaining and retaining your speech and swallowing is doing your speak out exercises every day. And that's why I'm here to help you establish a consistent speak out home practice routine. All right, go ahead and take a sip of water and we will get started. Before we do the warm-up, let's all smile with intent. Give a nice big smile. Ready? We have to practice smiling. It has to be intentional now because it's not automatic with Parkinson's. So your smiling needs to be purposeful and deliberate. Now let's start with the first speak out exercise. Ready? May, me, my, mo, moo. Speak out. Project your voice forward. Ready? May, me, my, mo, moo. Notice that I am connecting the syllables. This doesn't mean that you need to say this whole sequence on one breath. Don't think about your breathing. Just speak out, and you'll take a breath whenever you need to. But connect the syllables as much as you can. May, me, my, mo, moo. Make your voice fly in front of you. Ready? May, me, my, mo, moo. And one more time. This time, let's use a little bit more intent and stretch out those vowels. May, me, my, mo, moo. We had to think about it a little bit more that time, and that's good. Take a sip of water. We are trying to convert speech from an automatic function to an intentional act. Talking is usually automatic. You don't have to think about where your tongue is to articulate your sounds or your breathing. Okay, before Parkinson's, you didn't have to think about any of that. It was automatic. Now we need to make it deliberate and intentional. So anytime we do the exercises where we force ourselves to think about it a little bit more, that's using intent. Let's move on to speak out exercise number 2, the ahs. Deliberately, purposefully open your mouth wide and project that ah forward. Imagine it's flying up and over your computer or your television set. Ready? Ah. We hold it for a max of 10 seconds. Let's do it again. Good. You want the sound to be clear. If it's not clear, if it sounds raspy or breathy, try to project out a little bit more. Ready? Now let's do a shorter one. Ah. Ah. We're done with the ahs. Let's take a sip of water. Hopefully you have already gotten into the chat, and I would love to know, do you have plans this weekend? What will you be doing with intent? Let us know in the chat. If you've never used the chat, you'll see the box that says type in your nickname. Just type in your first name and where you're from, and that's all you need to do. Just type that in, and you'll be able to get into it. Let's move on to speak out exercise number 3, the glides. Project out a steady ah, and then glide up. Ready? Ah. Ah. Good. Let's do it again. Stop. Good. Make sure you stop all the way when you get to the top. Stop completely. Close your mouth. Let everything relax. And then you'll go on with the second half. Let's start over. Stop. We start and end at about the same pitch. Don't think about the pitch too much, but you notice that we're not going into falsetto. We're also not going down as low as we can. That puts too much tension on the vocal tract. We don't want to do that. The pitch range doesn't need to be that wide, but you are trying to change your pitch a little bit. Ready? Stop. Good. We have one more. Make this one your best one. Here we go. Very nice. Take a sip of water with intent. That means as you grab your cup or your glass, you're thinking about it. As you wrap your lips around the cup or glass, you're thinking about it, and you're swallowing with intent. You're being deliberate. I'm definitely deliberate when I swallow my water in front of you. I don't want to spill it. All right, today is Friday, so we're going to do something a little bit different. We'll do the counting first. We're going to count to 10 forward and backward. We're not going to stop. We're connecting the numbers, okay? When you get to 10, repeat number 10 and go backward. But just because we're not stopping doesn't mean that you're going to try to do all of these numbers on one breath. Don't think about the breath. Just speak out. Project your voice forward, and you'll take the breath when you need to. Just think about speaking out. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Backward. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nice. Let's just count to 5, forward and backward. We're throwing our voice forward. We're not yelling. There's a difference between yelling and projecting your voice forward, being confident. Let's count to 5, forward and backward, and repeat number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you notice I took plenty of breaths in there whenever I felt like I needed to, but I'm focusing on speaking out. So on Fridays, I like to do things a little bit differently. I'm using this really old speech therapy book, and I'm going to ask you some questions. It's really important whenever you're working on the reading and the conversation exercises. Take a sip of water, by the way. When you're working on reading and conversation, you want the exercises to be a little bit challenging, so you want to have to think about them, but you don't want them to be too hard. And by too hard, what I mean is when you read or when you say the responses, you should be able to get a nice sounding voice. But if you're trying and it's just not working, then it's too challenging and you need to back up a little bit. So I'm going to ask you to name the object that I describe. And I want you to either just name the object, or if that's too easy, I want you to answer in a complete sentence. Okay? So if I ask, what do you use to dry the dishes? You will either say a towel or I dry the dishes with a towel. Every word with intent, okay? Whichever one is a little bit challenging but not frustrating. All right? Next one. What do you use to weigh yourself? What do you use to listen to the news? What do you use to store clothing? What do you use to dig a hole? Are you speaking out? Make sure you're projecting your voice forward. What do you use to wash your clothes? What do you use to season your food? What do you use to fix your hair? Again, you might just say a brush or a comb. Okay, you're practicing speaking out. Or I use a brush to fix my hair, and I'm speaking out. Let's all just say that, and really, we're lifting every word, and we're projecting forward. I use a brush or a comb, if you use that, to fix my hair. Ready? I use a brush to fix my hair. Notice when I said hair, I was speaking out. One more time. I use a brush to fix my hair. That's how I want you to do each one, but you can either say a brush, a comb, or the whole sentence. The next one. What do you use to cook dinner? What do you use to sit on? What do you use to tell the time? Notice how I'm speaking out. I said time. Next one. What do you use to take pictures? Now I'm curious, did you say a camera or did you say a cell phone? Things have changed since this old book was written. Next one. What do you use to cut paper? What do you use to store food? What do you use to take your temperature? What do you use to sew on a button? Are you speaking out? Make sure you're using your best voice. What do you use to wipe up a spill? What do you use to light a fire? What do you use to cut the grass? What do you use to measure your height? Very good. It's not uncommon for people to do very well with the speak out exercises and then to really struggle with using their best voice in conversation. If you go and find some workbooks, this is just another suggestion besides your speak out workbook. There are lots of workbooks and don't think this is too elementary, okay? Right now, I'm working on my handwriting, and I went and bought a 3rd grade handwriting book so that I could make my handwriting better, okay? I don't think I ever learned to do my letters the way that many of you, I bet a lot of you, before Parkinson's, I bet you had really nice handwriting. So if you would go to the bookstore or on Amazon or Half Price Books and go get a workbook, like an English workbook, 3rd or 4th grade, that has you fill in the blanks. It could have you using different parts of speech, filling in a word. But anytime you do something like this where you have to think about the answer and then speak out, it's really good practice. It's just a suggestion. All right. We are going to end with Dr. Boone. Take a sip of water, and then we'll end with Dr. Boone's words. No bonus reading today. On Fridays, we do things a little bit differently. Let's go ahead and exaggerate the G's, the K's, and the NG's. Ready? Gu la gang ga ga. Be very deliberate. Gu la gang ga ga. And next. Ku ka mangu ka. Again. Ku ka mangu ka. Ready? Gangla. Speak out. Gangla. And the last one. Kukla. Kukla. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm very proud of you for doing your speak out exercises. If you haven't done your physical exercise yet, go ahead and get that out of the way. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday.